So the evil empire that is the NFL and the conglomerate, the big conglomerate as the NFL, has decided to speak out against Shedeur. And I'm talking about that one of the teams in the NFL is the Cleveland Browns. Now everybody understands and knows that the Cleveland Browns has not been one of those type of organizations that's been competitive over the what few years, just to say the least. And the Cleveland Browns are one of those squads and one of those organizations that they shouldn't even be trying to taint any type of talent that come their way. But when it comes to these NFL owners, this right here shows you and lets you know that they do work all together in cahoots with each other when it comes to if they want to blackball anyone. And that special talent that anyone I'm talking about is the one and only Mr. Shedeur Sanders. Now, Shedeur Sanders is the son of Deion Sanders, and the organization, the owner of the Cleveland Browns, came out and spoke to the media and said that he didn't want Shedeur Sanders to be picked where he was picked at. So we're gonna watch this video, and I'm gonna come back with my commentary about this owner saying this. So let's check the listen.
But you just told me it's going to pick him on Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur. I would say that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning, and we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur, just like who's going to start or what play we're going to call is Kevin's call. But that's Andrew's call. He made the call.
Wow. So why would this owner say something like this in the right in the beginning of the training camp? Because the owner, I mean the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, saying that he's going to have open competition at quarterback, which that's what he should do. But when you got the owners pressing and saying they didn't want Shedeur Sanders be picked up, then you start taking the waters as far as like, and you overstepping the bounds of the head coach when the head coach is saying clearly out loud, saying it's open competition when it's not open competition. So how do we get to this point, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to tell you how. This is what my opinions are, ladies and gentlemen, okay? This is my opinions, all right? All this transpired against Shedeur is because of what Dion had put out there, in the public a few months, maybe a year or so ago, where Dion was very vocal about, hey, he said that there are going to be some teams that he's not going to, if these teams want to pick his son, because at that time Dion thought his son was going to go top 5, maybe top 10, and he was saying, hey, look, there's organizations that he don't even want to even think about his picking up his son. And if you're an organization that's at the lowest of the totem pole, organizations like Cleveland, organizations like um, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Los Angeles Chargers, some of the Carolina Panthers, some of these organizations where football players really don't even have the even stand a chance. A lot of times they move on from these places or their career go, to die. And Dion saying, no, I'm not going to let my son play for none of these organizations that don't mean my son well. And Dion said he's been around the game and been around the organization to know who he is going to allow to be able to pick his son up. This is the same thing that pretty much Peyton Manning and his family did, Archie Manning, where Archie Manning did the same thing when it came to Eli Manning and where he was going to go. This is the same thing. But the NFL don't like the fact that, okay, you got a black man that's, knows his worth. He knows what his son can do. He's very active and very involved in his son's life. And he has the bravado and he also have the intelligence and to be able to speak up for his son because he knows the business inside and out. And he's a very supportive of his son. These NFL brass that own these different organizations don't like that. And I believe, and the New York Giants is another team that was involved in this as well. I believe that they were all in cahoots with each other, and they all said, you know what, yes, this guy's a special talent, but we want to teach Dion and his family a lesson. And that's what this is all about. This has nothing to do with Shedeur's talent, because they know he's very talented. But this is a way to check Dion and his family and say, hey, you guys are not bigger than the program. That's what it looks like to me. That's why this owner could come out and say some of the things he's saying about Shedeur, so that way he can put Shedeur in his place, to put Deion Sanders' his family in their place. And you know what? This is so disturbing, because again, this is training camp right now. How you expect this rookie coming in trying to cut his teeth into the league, and you as an owner come and say something about a player on your team like this? Because guess what? If the player was to come out and say something bad against the owner, this would be a whole nother thing here, or whatever, or say something bad against the organization, then the player could be held liable and be responsible. But in this instance here, the owner can say crazy stuff about the player, and the player just has to sit there and take that. I disagree with that whatsoever. But you know what? Shedeur does have family in his place. And his older brother, Deion Jr., was very vocal about his stance and how he felt about the owner, Jim Irsay, saying what he said about his brother. And you know what? I'm glad that Deion Jr., speaking up and speaking out on his brother, being his brother eyes and ears, and able to say what he needs to say to get back at this guy or whatever. Just let the little brother go in the camp, take care of your business, try to get that starting spot, or try to, make the ball club or whatever, and let me be your teeth, and let me go back and attack, on your behalf. And that's what Deion Jr. is doing when it comes to speaking up for his brother. Because everything Deion Jr. said, I agree 1,000%. And I'm glad that somebody is speaking up and speaking out against these NFL owners who think that, they're the end all be all, and they can just go and say what they need to say, what they want to say. So I'm thankful for that. But anyway, Shedeur, young fella, I hope you have a great season out there. I hope you make this ball club. I hope you be the starting quarterback. And I want you to prove all these jokers wrong. And I want Deion Sanders to be proven right, especially when it comes to how the NFL run its business and the organization and these owners, how they blackball certain individuals, and how the NFL as a conglomerate all together, they are in this thing together. They want to make who they want to make up, and they can break down who they want to bring down. So that's my thoughts about it in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to put your thoughts in the comments in the bottom here as well. And let me know what you guys think about this whole Shedeur Sanders versus the Cleveland Browns versus the NFL. All right. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, continue to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Please subscribe on YouTube at Mr. Nordar Radio Show. Also on Facebook at Mr. Nordar Reaction. And also go to Live 365, Mr. Nordar Radio Show. We go live every Tuesday and Thursday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then also on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. So you don't want to miss the music and the content, because we're going to definitely bring it every single time. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I am out. 100,000 subscribers, baby. Peace.
Wait. Hold on. What? You done forgotten my name? My name is